Well, good morning. So, made a video talking about, just starting to live with type 2 diabetes and sort of, how that's been affecting me. And I've actually made some videos. I've recorded them on my phones, and generally each one ends up being so almost personal that I'm like, I can't post this to the channel. Honestly, so often I'm just thinking through and dealing with things like emotions. What am I going to eat now? Why do I have to live with this? Things of that nature. And also, often I guess I go off into what I would normally call rants. Or I am almost like verbally processing things as they happened. And although I'm sure that there are people who would say, oh, that's great. Other people, could see what you're going through and how you're processing it. And it's weird because I am one of those people who almost happily will talk your ear off about anything going on in my life. It actually kind of felt too personal to put that kind of content on the internet where anybody could see it. So I didn't really post anything about it until finally yesterday when I said I do want to still record this part of my life when I'm still getting used to it. And I think other people could benefit. I know. So I got diagnosed on a Monday, 3 weeks ago now? Yeah, about 3 weeks ago. So, okay. Figuring a diagnosis date, I guess for me is a little complicated. I got the test results back that Monday night. So 3 weeks and a night ago is when I got my first A1C that was way over 6.5. It was in fact 6.9. Which is like, okay, yeah, no. you're in diabetic territory here, That would be well-controlled diabetic, but that's still diabetic territory. And then, like that Tuesday, so 3 weeks ago now, the doc had sent an email towards the end of the day, but said, hey, let's get you in for another one. I ended up going in that following Wednesday morning, but that Tuesday I picked up my glucometer from the local place. You can see the fans from my CPAP because I sleep on this side, and so they press them a little bit more. And now that I don't have the beard, it's easier to see. Anyway, so and then that Wednesday morning, I did the second test. That one happened to be fasting, just because I was like, let's just make sure it's super accurate, even though A1C doesn't matter. The time I tested before was the prior Friday morning, so it wasn't even a whole week before, but I went from 6.9 to 7.2, and I got that test result Thursday night. And so at what point is my, how do you say it, diaversary? Diabetes anniversary. It's a portmanteau of the two words. I've seen it a couple places online. But I'm like, I don't know how to say when I was diagnosed other than April. Is it April actually? Yeah, it was April. April of 24. Okay, so I've been diagnosed with diabetes for up to 3 weeks now. Again, not really sure how you're supposed to say that. Eventually it won't matter because it'll be so long that it will not be a big deal. I think I will use that Monday night as my diaversary until I am otherwise corrected. Oh, and then last Thursday, literally last Thursday, like not even a whole week, that's when I met with the doctor because vacations and schedules, mostly vacations, just were not aligning. And so we sat down and we went over and, like, what does it mean, and adjusted some of my meds, and upped the metformin, and put me on a statin, and like all of the stuff. And so I'm not really sure what day to use. But I'll just use that Monday night until I have something better. But I'm still pretty excited having the CGM. I still think everybody who's diabetic should be able to get one. And I think that it is very valuable. I really do think a 15-minute non-alarming over-the-counter CGM is perfectly fine for most type 2 diabetics. Unless you're on insulin. If you're on insulin, that's just like type 1. Yes, you should be on a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute max CGM, and I think that's totally fine. Honestly, I'm liking my Freestyle Libre 3. It works well for me. And I love the data, like the data quantity that I can get every minute-ish. What's funny is actually when I'm like sleeping and all, I don't get as many dots in Night Scout and some of the others. But and the thing is, some of them are pulling directly from my Libre View, and others are pulling from Night Scout, which pulls from my Libre View. But most of them seem to support both Dexcom and Abbott's like main system for this stuff. Is really cool. I'm really hoping that Stelo, that over-the-counter one, also supports my Libre View. I think that would be a good idea. I do not like this driver that's like right on the back of my car, like right there, and I'm like, I just had to brake. When I braked. It should be braked. It should be broke, but it also should be braked. Oh, different brake. Okay. Anyways, I braked early and lightly, specifically so my lights would come on, so that they might back off a bit. Because, yeah. Anyway, I bought 3 different cookbooks for diabetes, and I am effectively, I'm not quite stopped. I am so darn close to stopped. It's not funny. Anyway, so this diabetes cookbook and meal plan for the newly diagnosed. I looked over it. I think it will be a useful resource for me. The meal plan seems completely unrealistic for me. I'm not going to have breakfast. No, I'm sorry. I don't have time. Like, I get up at about 7:30. I'm supposed to be to work by 9. I don't see in there where I'm going to be able to fit breakfast. Because I leave the house at like 8:30, a little bit before 8:30 really, to get to work on time. I got to shower, I got to go to the bathroom, I got to shave. Actually, I don't know that I did that this morning. I don't see where I'm supposed to fit breakfast in. Not to mention, I'm sorry, but you can say making breakfast only takes 20 minutes. Yeah. I don't believe you. Not one bit. And then I got to eat it too. And am I supposed to scarf this down? Because I keep getting told by people, you're not supposed to scarf down food. Another one is the Clean and Simple Diabetes Cookbook. I looked over this. I like the idea that, like, it tells you how easy things are. The variety of things is pretty good. I'm liking it. As I read through it, a lot of them, I'm not going to make it that complex. I can only be a cook if I've got the time. And if I've got the time, I will make more complex recipes. Now, sometimes I'll just drop things out of the recipes anyways, because I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then diabetic meals by the plate. This one I looked over, and honestly, so many of the recipes just seemed so complicated. And I'm like, again, I don't have the time for complex meals. Like, telling me, okay, Chris, have some granola, some plain Greek yogurt, and a strawberry, and slice up the strawberry. Okay, cool. I can do that. I can make that in 2 minutes. I can eat it in 3 to 5. Is this an opportunity for me to get over? It is. is an opportunity. And so is also that person going to get over. Cool, we can both get over. And we can both not hit people and not get hit by people. Oh, I do so love traffic. It's funny because I'm that guy who's like, oh, you have your turn signal on? Or you're obviously about to get over? I will make room for you. No problem. But at the same time, I'm like, I hate trying to move lanes because I feel like everyone else is a jerk. And they're not, and I understand that. Ah, fork. I just have to leave work early. I have lodge tonight. I have a specific role in that degree that we're doing tonight. And I completely forgot to bring my nice clothes. These are my work clothes. I didn't bring my sports jacket or my shirt I was going to change into. That's fine. I just have to head home before I go in. And I have to head home anyways because I generally can't have the food at the lodge. At least not right now. Because so often it is really not going to work for a diabetic. Like, yeah. It's like, oh, it's unhealthy protein, and it's unhealthy carbs, and it's a lot of fat, and maybe some salad. And not even that all the time. But, and it, yeah, like, that is what it is. It's totally fine. I am nowhere near them. I didn't even have to touch my brake. I've not touched my brake since I left. Maybe, no, I did touch my brake on that ramp. It's been, what, 2-3 minutes now? And I have my Tesla set to moderate. I wonder what it would do if I put it on the distance, notification, where it's like, oh, it's going to be very, very loose about notifying you. Like, not loose, strict where, like, it'll notify you really early. I'm not on early. Cars, technology. Anywho. But I got the cookbooks. 2 of them were recommended by my Kaiser certified diabetes educator. And then the third one actually was recommended by Amazon because I put one in the cart. I started to put the other one in the cart and said, hey, all 3 of these are bought at the same time. I went, fine, just add all to the cart, clean up the cart, and I bought all 3. And I forget which one was the one that wasn't. the thing. I want to say it was the Clean and Simple Diabetes Cookbook, but I can't be sure. Anyways, but I know I'm jumping around a lot. Took the Adderall this morning. I'm still waiting for it to kick in. But I need an easy diabetes cookbook. Like, hey, here's 10 different breakfasts you can make in 2 minutes. Scrambled eggs, throw in your frozen, I don't know, chopped, red peppers you can get at the store. Or, okay, cool, let's make an omelet, which is easy and is already diabetic friendly. But scramble 2 eggs, buy a bag of frozen chopped up pepper bits. You'll use them all in a week. Chopped up onion bits, you'll use them all in a week. And some frozen broccoli. You'll use it all within a day probably, but sure, a week, Get the little twisty ties or, your bag clips or whatever. And just dump a third of each bag in, put the egg in the pan, dump a third of each thing in. Once it's kind of cooked, twist it over, or just serve as is. Congratulations. You just made a nice diabetic breakfast. Pair it with some buttered toast if you like toast. There's some carbs for you. And you get some healthy carbs with the veggies. Cool. That's the kind of recipes I need. Or, oh, you want a diabetic-friendly lunch? Microwave half a bag. You can't do half a bag. I mean, you microwave the whole bag. Well, unless you buy the ones that don't microwave in the bag, I guess. Fine. Microwave half a bag's contents of frozen veggies. Any kind will do, as long as they're not potatoes, corn, or peas. take a grilled chicken breast from your frozen bag and cook it in a pan. Because that, like, you can bring induction stoves to a lot of workplaces. Okay, because at that point there's no, like, it's not permanently installed, so most buildings don't care. As long as it's UL listed, most buildings are happy about it with insurance. Because your insurance is going to be like, oh, was it UL listed? But the other thing is they're actually pretty darn safe. I mean, they pull electricity, and they get a little hot, but they don't even get that hot. Like, they get hot on the surface, sure, but it's induction. It uses, like, magnetism to heat the pan. It can heat it pretty quickly, and a little bit of spray olive oil or vegetable oil or whatever you want to use. I use olive oil. Put your grilled chicken on, cook it all the way through. Congratulations, you're done. Now, ideally, you add spices. I'm white, so we use mayonnaise, salt, and pepper, as I was joking with my kid. But no, I mean, this is actually where, as long as you are aware of the sugar content of that sauce, you can actually, like, add sauces to your grilled chicken. I got a few different things. They're all at home, but it kind of only helps if you have them with you when you cook, Chris. But I also have all my grilled chicken at home. And so my idea when I bought that was I can just pull a grilled chicken out of the bag, cook it for myself, should maybe cook it for the family. I'd love to get the family on kind of the whole diet. It'd be healthier for them. But at the very least for myself, I cook a grilled chicken, and then I just put a little sauce on it, and now I have added some flavoring. And yes, again, you can do marinades, you can do all sorts of complex things, but that's just it. I don't usually have time for complex things. I don't usually have time for mixing 17 different spices together into the perfect rub. No! I need something that's quick. So I might put, like, a little bit of paprika on the grilled chicken breast once it's, it's cooked, essentially. Put a little bit on there, let it cook just a little bit longer. Maybe a little bit of, like, pepper, or something like that. That's, generally about as much as I'll do around spices, unless I kind of know what I'm doing, which I usually don't. But I need something fast, something fast and easy. And then it might say, like, oh yeah, cook your whole grilled chicken, and then take half of it and put it in a sandwich baggie, put it back in the fridge, eat it for dinner. Okay, cool. So now I got my protein, got my veggies. What do I want for carbs? Oh, eat half an apple. Actually, probably eat a whole apple would probably be good for lunch. Now, for a snack, half an apple's fine. For a lunch, yeah, maybe a whole apple, or maybe an apple and some nut butter. Of course, that's more protein than anything, but you get the idea. Like, simple. Keep it super simple, and give me things that you can just combine. One of the cookbooks actually has this whole, like, build the plate, and it shows, like, okay, this meal is like, the half plate of veggies, and then a quarter plate of protein, and a quarter plate of your starchy carbs / fruits / dairy / whatever else. And I'm like, why don't you just give me the ingredient components that are the different things? Like, okay, you need a half plate of veggies. Here's 50 different ideas. Go find one that you like. And do that. Here's your 50 things. And then, okay, cool, here's 30 different protein ideas, which actually really isn't that hard. But, honestly, for me, I struggle with those darn veggies. The protein, pretty straightforward. Some salmon, some grilled chicken. I mean, if you want to eat red meat, which I still eat red meat, honestly, you go to a steakhouse, it's so easy to eat healthy as a diabetic, because you get a steak plate, 6 ounce, whatever their cheapest steak is. You get 6 ounces of that, medium well, and then you just and then you 2 sides of veggies, and they're not starchy veggies. Congratulations, it's a pretty darn healthy dinner for a diabetic. And by the way, you probably do have some starchy veggies in there somewhere. I'm not that worried about not getting starchy veggies. But that's the other thing is, a cookbook where it's like, okay, cool, here's what to do for veggies. Like, here's a serving. You need 2 servings per plate. Here's 50 different ideas for non-starchy veggies. And then, like, here's 30 that are starchy veggies / fruit, aka that other quarter. And then here's 30 ideas for protein. Combine them, mix and match however you want. Don't give me the whole dang plate, because then I'm like, I'm gonna modify the heck out of this like crazy. Sorry, I see a license plate I have never seen before. Oh, that is... Colorado has a license plate for women veterans. I have never seen this. I love it. I love the design. It's got the U.S. flag at the top, Colorado and military stencil style lettering, which Colorado doesn't usually do. It's got the normal lettering for the actual license plate number. You know, it's got a little seal shield thing, and then like women veteran. Again, nowhere near a car. But I love the style of, oh my gosh, that looked good. Like some of the designs for the Colorado plates, I look at them and I'm like, okay, if you like that, you know. But that looked so good. That caught my eye. Oh, I loved that. Anyways, so this was very rambly, and I recognize that. I'm almost to work. I can have, by the way, I'm actually going to a Starbucks where there's one drink I can reliably get, and that is this vanilla cream cold brew. I have cold brew at work though. I should just go to work. Yes, I should just go to work. Not do this. Yes, I'm just gonna go to work then. I was just about to be like, oh, you know, when I get there, let me pull up the Starbucks app. Let me go ahead and place the order, pay. But no, I bought cold brew, and I bought some vanilla whipped cream swish. We call it swish in my family. Swish. You can put on top. And I looked at them because the vanilla cream wasn't too bad on carbs, and the cold brew, of course, effectively had none, or very, very close to it. It is vanilla flavored cold brew, but it's got almost no carbs and almost no and almost no sugar. And I was like, okay, cool, I like that. It's a good alternative. Although the Starbucks one is also very good. The Starbucks vanilla cream cold brew is like, what, 9? I'm not even sure it's 90 calories. It's either 90 or 40. And whatever it is, it's extremely low carbs and sugars. I was like, oh, I can have that. I know I can have that. Don't know about like all these other drinks, most of which are way too many carbs already. Darn it. But, yeah, I just remembered. I did stock my mini fridge at work, so I should go to work. I should have that. Any case, I guess the long and short of this is I'm still working through like what can I eat, what can I not eat, how am I going to change my life, and trying to figure out how can I. It sounds weird to say accommodate diabetes in my life because it makes it sound like I'm going to bend a diabetes against what works for me, but that's just it. I have to. Like I can't completely change when I get to work, when I leave work. All of the other things I do, it's a negotiation. It's fitment. It's like, how do I move this a little bit, move that a little bit to make everything work for me so that I can, I guess I'll park at the upper lot, so that I will be able to handle that diabetes. There's the exact same spot they were yesterday, but I will park this time in the spot that I want because I really want it. Anyway, like this morning, I'm about to go in. I'm going to have a egg and cheese croissant sandwich because now that I have the CGM, I can look at it and go, I know how much it's going to impact me, which is actually not that much. So it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, I'd be happier if I could put some kind of if they have to get into their vehicle, maybe I will move over even more. I just parked so darn close to the line. But I like the spot. And in the end, the likelihood they're even going to get in their work van is really low. Normally I wouldn't even record this part. There we are. Okay. Anyway, I have to figure out how do I make it work for me. I think all three of these cookbooks were good resources. I'm going to keep them. I'm not going to return one. It doesn't make sense to. But I'm definitely going to pull, oh, and they say starch or grain. And then on the side, dairy or fruit. That's interesting, the way that they do the diabetic plate. There's actually, I think Kaiser's slide deck had one slide where they had a plate similar, but not quite the same as this. I mean, I look at this one, honestly, and I sort of like, I like it also, and this is the Diabetes by the Plate, which I haven't read much through, but I think part of what I really love about it is, yes, it's got the name, it's got the ingredients, it's got how to do it. And no, these aren't any simpler than the other cookbooks, but I do eat with my eyes, and I look at that and I go, ooh, that's what I would be eating. In this case, wait, oh, that's grilled romaine. I was like, is that corn? No, it's not. It's giant romaine lettuce, and then lamb, and then pita bread. But I think that, and don't get me wrong, like I look at this, and again, you eat with your eyes, but also I look at it and I go, ooh, that looks delicious. I like that. But I think I want a cookbook that's like, here's the components. Here's, a serving or a quarter of a plate of your veggies. 50 different ideas. Go. And then you just sort of start going through it. Go, ooh, I like cauliflower. Ooh, I like Brussels sprouts. Like, I love Brussels sprouts, actually. Oh, these days, because they've changed the genetics on them. They have changed Brussels sprouts since I was a kid, and I'm 47. And they've actually they've talked about this online that the Brussels sprouts have been modified. They are less bitter. And I'm like, I actually like them. I love them, like grilled or broiled. You can put you could put sriracha on them. You could put gochujang sauce. Ooh. You could sprinkle them with, what have I done? Can't quite remember the flavor. If it was cayenne or if it was something else. But I mean, yeah, it has to be savory spice there. But like, they're good, and I'm like, that works. I just have to have them, and then I have to say, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna eat, like this many for a lunch today. I'm gonna eat this many for that today. That kind of thing. So, I'm still working on, kind of like assembling my diet. Medication wise, I've got my medications. Friday I'll go up in metformin again. I've got my CGM, which I freaking love having this. I love having it, and I look at the overwrap, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I make sure each day I'm like, yep, the overwrap edges still seem good. Everything should be fine. It's not peeling off or anything yet. I've already started looking on Amazon at there's a brand. Their name starts with skin, and I forget. It's 4 other letters. And they are apparently very well recommended on Amazon, like massively so. And so I will probably end up getting some of theirs. Although it appears that a lot of the overwraps, it looks like a lot of them are designed to just overwrap the whole thing. And I'm like, you're supposed to leave the hole open. They specifically say to leave the hole open, because that's how it drains in case you get like sweat or something under there. But these seem to imply that they cover the hole. Like, they aren't pictures of the actual product even. They're renderings. I thought you were supposed to include at least one real picture. But, and if one of them is a real picture, then yeah, you guys aren't following what they tell you to do with the Freestyle Libre 3, which is to leave the hole uncovered. So I might actually have to get like a hole punch or something. Just hole punch the middle of these things if they don't properly have a hole. Or go with someone else. But I love having this because it does mean that I can have breakfast from the cafe here at the office. Whereas that first week, I was like, nope. I'm going to super control exactly what I eat, and I got to be very careful, carb-wise. And admittedly, I was losing good weight. I forgot to weigh myself this morning on the way out of home, but I know from the last 2 weightings I've done, I'm not losing as much weight now as I was when I was traveling. And so I know that I've got to sort of get back to that diet of like, okay, got to eat super healthy. I've got to plan my meals a little bit better, because I can't go to a restaurant where I can just be like, I can order, oh yeah, order, and I want, a whole bunch of veggies and then a little bit of something else. And that actually is somewhat easy to do. No, I've got to make it myself, which means I've got to have the stuff available. And that's kind of where I struggle, is making sure I have the stuff available, making sure I know how I want it cooked, how I want to eat it. And then I've got the time to make whatever it is I'm going to make. Like that planning, I'm just not good at. So I'm still figuring out how to do that. Anyways, there's my, I guess, thoughts. That's kind of where I'm at with my diabetes right now, and working through all of this stuff. I will post it shortly here. And I think I want to try to keep people in the loop as I kind of go through this. And maybe it helps somebody else in the future if they look back on this, or if I look back on it and they're like, hey, this, I'm going through right now what this guy was going through back then. Or maybe somebody will train an AI, and then that AI, can crowdsource from all these different people who went through, type 2 diabetes, and, the progression, and yep, okay, this is what it's like when you're in the beginning, and then you kind of enter this plateau here, and then eventually, if you don't control it, things get worse, and then this is what it's like when you start insulin, and, maybe we train an AI as a species, I guess, and then that AI can be like, okay, cool, this is kind of what you might be going through, and this is how people have worked through it, and, lots of people have gone through it. I don't know, I could see an AI almost like counselor being able to say, yeah, lots of people go through exactly what you are, and by the way, here's something to think about, and here's something that's worked for other people, because that could be a great way to use AI to sort of crowdsource that knowledge in an extremely repeatable fashion, as opposed to humans where their slice of knowledge is only what they've learned. And AI could learn effectively everything and then use that knowledge for everyone. Anyways, I am massively digressing, but I'm also hungry. So I'm going to go in, get started on work, get some breakfast, and I will talk to you guys later.